I'm investigator Matt Wilmot. I'm a full-time fire investigator for the Office of the New Hampshire State Fire Marshal. I've been working for the office since 2014. Prior to that, I worked for the New Hampshire State Police, and prior to that, I was a call firefighter in the town of Deering for a period of 6 years, as well as an EMT. I have this large pool of experiences that I've tried to hyper-focus into the role of a fire investigator, which I feel as though I've been able to do relatively well because we draw on all of these varied experiences and bring them together. It's a combination of law enforcement and the fire service. So that's really what kind of brought me to the table and made me interested in becoming a fire investigator. There's only a handful of full-time fire investigators in the state of New Hampshire. We're a very small agency. We have public education and fire prevention. We have many people that work for our office, but in terms of what I can speak to the best, which would be our Bureau of Investigations, we have a handful of investigators that do a mountain of work, and we rely very heavily on reaching out and building relationships with local communities to make sure that gets done. Investigating fires can help us prevent a lot of future problems with respect to fire. We can collect that data and utilize that to steer fire code changes in the future or public education programs that can be used to protect the safety of the public. An example that I would use would be a little while ago, I received information from a fire department that there was a barn fire. There was a device on the side of this barn that was a solar-powered, low-powered light, and the fire was isolated right to that device. It spread up the side of the building and caused some damage to the structure. Now, normally my office wouldn't typically get involved with responding to an incident like that, but in that case, what I was able to do was connect the Consumer Product Safety Commission with the local fire chief, and he was able to come and take possession of that device. And that device was subsequently analyzed by engineers, and they're actively, as of right now, looking into whether or not that's a mass production issue. If that similar device could potentially cause there to be other fires, more serious fires potentially. This fire happened during the daytime. Had it happened at night and communicated to the house that was attached to the barn, it could have been a very different story. It could have been a fatality. The most common causes of accidental fires are cooking, heating equipment, smoking, and electrical devices. So cooking with respect to accidental fires nationally contributes to almost half of the accidental fires that occur in the United States. In New Hampshire, that number isn't quite the same because we are in a colder climate up here. So that number's a little lower, but still that accounts for a large amount of accidental fires. It can be a matter of carelessness or misuse of equipment. Perhaps somebody's cooking something that they shouldn't be. They may have a fryer in their kitchen. There are a number of hazards that are incorporated into the household with respect to the cooking area. You have open flames, you have heated equipment, you have a bunch of different things going on at once, and oftentimes people will turn on a heating appliance, turn on the stove, turn on the burner, put something in the oven, and then leave. Heating equipment is a problem that we deal with obviously during the colder temperatures, the colder weather. There's a number of different heating appliances and devices in the state of New Hampshire that are used. There's wood stoves, there's obviously furnaces, there's different heating fuels that are used, gases, and appliances that are used to actually use those fuels, whether or not they're electric or off of a fossil fuel that generate heat in some capacity. We have space heaters. Some of the older models don't have protection devices integrated into them that prevent them from shutting off if they're tipped over or overheating. So they can cause fires sometimes. The overall problem with heating-related fires, we tend to see a spike in that during the really cold weather, also with generator use, things like that. Electrical equipment it's kind of a unique animal with respect to fire investigations. It's a cause of many accidental fires, and oftentimes in certain cases it's something that can't be ruled out. We try our very hardest, but sometimes fire damage is so extensive that we're not able to rule that out as a competent source of ignition or a potential cause. However, we are very good at being able to look at something and saying, this is artifact of the fire, or this is a cause of the fire. The things that can cause electrical fires we see very frequently overburdened systems, cables that aren't meant to support a given current that are hooked into an appliance that has a higher demand. We have overloaded power strips. We have people who have tampered with electric devices that shouldn't have. We have unlicensed electrical work that maybe has been done that contributes to an unsafe condition that gradually breaks down and causes there to be a fire somewhere in maybe even a concealed space.